what are you guys doing in terms of, digital transformation, and what do you foresee, might be the next step going forward in that area?
Yeah, thanks. It's such an important question. When you talk about digital transformation, I think that kind of phraseology is probably used to refer to a lot of different journeys that companies might go on. Certainly, we're seeing people do that intentionally from a platform modernization standpoint, internally or back of house, as well as front of house, as you mentioned, from a customer experience standpoint. We ourselves are going through these kinds of experiences, and all companies do and will. So I think my first answer to you would be to continue to even more deeply understand the customer and be a sounding board. When you have an opportunity to serve many like we do, you see patterns about what works and what doesn't. And we've really had a long history here. I'm proud to have joined in being very embedded in the industries we serve and understanding those things deeply. So some of our predecessors, even themselves from an executive seat, were just very directly involved in sort of offering consultative advice in a lot of matters. So that really continues for us. So you'll see us continue to be very industry embedded. So awareness of these kinds of circumstances are just part of how we do everyday business. I think as you see us scale further, to build off of Brian's comments on other products and services, you could see us offer advice in these kinds of matters in a way that's designed more to be a marketed product and service that we can scale. And then I think lastly, you can just expect us, as we have our own successes and failures, bumps and bruises, to be able to share about how those are going. And all of that for us amounts to, continuing deepened integration between the platforms we design and the way our customers win in the marketplace, because that fundamentally is what makes us useful. So,
As a relative newcomer at Great
yeah.
America, what have you seen or been able to learn in terms of, dealer approach to their strategies, what works, what doesn't work? Now give us your fresh perspective, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, it's been exciting to learn more about it. It's such a prosperous niche that we're fortunate to serve. And so, the first thing I've learned is just, how well executed this industry's been. A lot of privately owned companies, obviously sales organizations that generally have very deep relationships and understand the importance of recurring business and how to go about doing things the right way. So it's been a pleasure to learn more just generally. To me, the obvious circumstances that most are facing is, sort of accelerating consolidation. That's not unique to this industry in a baby boomer era in the United States, if you will, but probably a little more pronounced here than some other areas. So you sort of see diverging strategies probably on whether to scale up and modernize and evolve aggressively or not. And either can work, just when you have the number of really successful, prosperous lifestyle businesses, you tend to see maybe the gap widen on approach, if you will. And I think for those in consolidation or more aggressive evolution, they're exploring a lot of the expansion through additional services and products for customers that sort of came up a little bit earlier in the call. It's exciting to see how they integrate, and we've had a long history of wanting to do things that support success. So whether it was supporting in the evolution of managed IT that Mitch mentioned earlier, or other things, we're going to continue to want to participate in those things as partners directly in service of the reseller customers we serve, and in some cases perhaps to what we call the end user or their customers. So it's an exciting time of change in this space. So.
A lot of this for dealers is sometimes trial and error, right? And in terms of how they evaluate their success or maybe even their failures when they implement a new strategy, is your advice, should they kind of have a 6-month approach where they sit back and wait, or should they be more aggressive in terms of evaluating failures and why maybe they didn't work, and kind of address those or approach those as they occur?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think when you think about innovation and evolution, I think your questions around timing and aggression probably are very circumstantial, right? Would be how I'd answer. If I unpack that a little more, to me, at the risk of being a boring pragmatist, where these things go wrong most often, I'd say, firstly, would be just hanging too loosely onto punchlines, and notions instead of acting in some way. And then when you're in action mode, I think generally being more focused and committed, but very clear on the thesis that you're exploring would be, to me, keys to success. So the timelines really need to be well thought out, right? To see how long it will take to really answer the question. Obviously, organizations want to have a thoughtful capital allocation strategy and invest at a magnitude that suits their needs and circumstances. But as we pursue these kinds of questions, as my colleague Brian mentioned, we have some very exciting and very clear paths to where growth can come from. We have, we believe, many years of growth that can come from our core business and the adjacent industries we serve, along with more obvious adjacent products. And meanwhile, we are investing in more material lever movers for the long term, as we realize the family's intention to be here for generations, right? And so we continue to invest greatly in the long term while we thoughtfully improve in the kind of shorter term timeline. So for us, we've got a map of different timelines and then different assessment on the significance of what a win would look like versus the cost and effort associated with it. So not unlike baseball, you want to have some singles and doubles and maybe hit a homer every once in a while. So probably having some variety makes sense for most.
The next 5 years are kind of a critical period for the industry that we serve. What role do you believe Great America plays or should play in supporting not only new technologies and innovations, but also perhaps even new markets that your clients can gravitate toward?
Yeah, I'll jump in there, Mark. So I think we've always just been really impressed, and I continue to be, with how our customers are adapting. So we talked about some of the things from a new products and services, some of the impact of tariffs and margin compression. I think as they are exploring and expanding the products and services they offer, we will continue to see folks who do take more of maybe a segment specific or a vertical approach in the future. And the good news is, I feel like one thing we've always prided ourselves on is being really immersed and being really close to this channel and understanding how our customers are thinking about not just the next 12 months, but really the next 5 to 10 years in their business and where they're headed. So we want to continue to make sure we stay really close to that. Obviously, we'll provide financing solutions for things that they sell and they service. I think what we're also trying to understand are, what are some of the other things that Great America can do in partnership with our customers to keep them focused on things that are going to generate revenue and create additional success for their organization, and maybe let us take on some of the work that might be a little bit more administrative in nature or kind of back office, if you will. So I don't have a specific answer for some of the products and services they should be considering, but what we know is our customers will continue to adapt and will continue to find ways to be there to support them, whether that's getting more broad than they have and expanding services, or whether it's becoming really niche focused and trying to go deeper and wider in certain segments or verticals moving forward. I don't know, Martin, I'd be curious to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, great. I was going to actually add, Mark, on that as one of the other areas, being a second generation in the business, right? My dad being the founder, so many of the customers in the industry are family-oriented businesses. I can think of several that are even on their third generation, and transitioning from one year to the next is not a guarantee at all. And I do believe that through even some peer groups I'm a part of and through the knowledge we have there, that's a clear way that how can we help our customers achieve greater success? It's by also sharing the experiences that I've had, others have had, and helping transition businesses. And I don't believe you transition a business from a founder or an owner to a son or a daughter. You transition it to a team. And that team is led by that individual. It's a family member still instilling those values. And we just want to continue doing business with people that believe in what we believe in. And I think that's a strong area that we can continue to support. That's a minor example of something small. And again, as Mitch mentioned, is Great America. We have also been in the IT financing segment for, probably close to 15-ish years by now. And Great America playing in other areas also helps us translate that to our existing customer set. And then the final thing that Mitch said, and I think you've heard from everything, whether it's the bank or not, is everything we're doing is rooted from the voice of our customer. I thought of one question that came to me, Mark, was, hey, so is Great America going to go open a bunch of checking accounts? Are we going to have Great America banks where people go in with their consumer stuff? No. Our goal there really is to what can we do to support our existing customers at high trust, and what can we do to make them a better business? So we're looking to continue that, and that's a small example once again.
In terms of, all these new and different strategies that dealers are being asked to consider and embrace, what does Great America think is the most challenging of those?
I think we've talked a little bit about diversification. So I think, some of the challenges that come with that are, first and foremost, you're often relying on a third party these days because the world is just so much more reliant on interconnectivity and cloud solutions. So I think customers have, there's been a few experiences of maybe picking somebody who's not a well-known source and just doing due diligence correctly to make sure that they're putting their customers in the hands of a viable organization that's going to deliver on the commitments that their customers are used to. There's obviously increased security risks. Our customers sell and service, devices that sit on an end user's network. So there's obviously additional liability and things that need to be considered as part of that. Again, great resources out there in the channel today, including through the BTA and other areas that our customers have expanded into for knowledge and ideas and ways to protect themselves there. You've got to find somebody and you've got to find a strategy within whether your existing sales team or additional talent in the organization to sell those things moving forward, and trying to blend those sales models continues to be a challenge. And I think that's a challenge in any business that's diversified. So I look forward to our customers continuing to find ways to motivate team members to not only take care of kind of what their foundational business and some of the foundational profitability that creates the opportunity to go and diversify and bring on new offerings, but also how to find a way then to really full force go into and expand the opportunity that they have with some of these new products and services that they're selling. So I think a general thing that we hear from our customers, or probably existing challenge, is always in the hiring realm. So finding the talent to match with the opportunities, particularly on the sales side, and finding net new opportunities for customers will continue to be a challenge moving forward as well.
Thank you, Mitch, and thank you, Great America, for all you do for the channel. I just want to close by saying we appreciate your time today, and we look forward to the whole update process on the bank approval in the coming months. So please keep us in the loop.